Welcome to a 2v2 on Vaux Farmlands. This game is going to be Augustus, Marius, and Somenbjorn as double Soviets on the left versus Katatafisch and Sperlingsprinz as mixed axis on the right. I have an early engagement right there for this map. Kuba wagon opening from Katatafisch, who sends it immediately for the road right here, forcing a retreat from those combat engineers. First engagement for the South Fuel will be combat engineers and conscripts versus pios and grenadiers. Looks like building control will go to Sperlingsprinz should he choose to take it, but he's not going to. Combat engineers will jump in the house. Oh no, pios actually jumped in just in front of them. Combat engineers will retreat. MG42 makes it to the engagement before these two squads of conscripts, since this one stopped to take control of the munitions right there, so the engagement may go to Sperlingsprinz. Barely. Stands in a Molotov for a little too long though. Takes a lot of damage right there. Pios jump out of the house. Grenadiers are going to get nailed so quick by these conscripts. It will not last long in this engagement. Meanwhile, the north, no engagements. Soviet player here has gone tier 2. And sent one squad of conscripts for this house, so Commander West will be able to get the north quite quickly. Those grenadiers will be forced to retreat. MG42 setting up down here, engaging that conscript squad. Pios moving up into short range should be able to force that retreat easily enough. Conscripts on the retreat of those grenadiers, though. Whoa! Thought they were going to run right by. I'm not sure if that's going to get sniped. He needs a lucky shot. Changes his mind, gives up, lets that get away. That was an easy wipe. Easy wipe. Meanwhile, not paying attention to that conscript squad does get wiped by pios at short range. MG42 suppresses those conscripts at point blank before packing up to reposition to safety again. Molotov crits 2 squad members. Ouch. But grenadiers will keep them suppressed. If the MG can suppress that squad, he should be able to win the engagement for this fuel. Conscripts do get outside his arc of fire. Needs to pack up. Needs to get a miracle somehow. He knows he's not going to be able to suppress that squad and retreats. Grenadiers and pios might be able to win this. Should be able to win this, honestly. Unless he stands into the fire. No crits, though. Pios need to get into short range, or support needs to arrive. It looks like support from the Oster will arrive before support from the Soviets. If you can force a retreat from this conscript squad before support arrives from the left side, he should be able to secure this area. There's the retreat. Should go to Sperlingsprinz here. Hit the dirt. Interesting choice. Meanwhile, in the north, it looks like Commander West hasn't really engaged at all. Kuba wagon may have made an attempt for this area, done minor damage to that Maxim, but overall it looks like nothing has really changed hands. Fuel still in OKW control, Soviets still control the munitions. Engagement continues to rage for the south, but grenadiers are pulling ahead of these conscripts, which are hitting the dirt. And be forced to retreat. Only one commander selection in this game so far, guard rifle combined arms to give him access to hit the dirt. Probably a little bit better now with guard rifles in the mix. And Somenbjorn has urban defense, counterattack, and shock rifle. The Axis have Luftwaffe fortifications, breakthrough, Jaeger armor, assault support, and elite troops. So pretty standard 2v2 fare, I would say. Soviet player finds an opening to try and make a play for the north at this time. He's going to make his way up there. Mines getting planted here on the road.
Mines planted. You need something built?
Mines going down here. A bunker has been constructed here in the south to try and protect the fuel point. Probably be successful. Throwing a machine gun upgrade on that. MG42 jumping into the house, but he's too late to get inside before this attack arrives, unfortunately. So he's now going to take a Molotov and get flanked, taking huge damage from that crit right there. Get out of the house! Oh my god, he got out the south door and is forced to retreat. Horrible engagement. facing of this bunker will leave it very vulnerable to these guards and conscripts making their way towards the south. That squad will be easy to clean up, though. Grenadiers need to somehow focus fire these guards and conscripts down. There is another MG42 available to support here. Rifle grenade is a little bit off target there. Meanwhile, in the north, there's finally an engagement between Soviets and OKW. Looks like OKW will take it. One squad of conscripts forced to retreat, very little health remaining, and the Kuba wagon should easily keep those pinned. Volks Grenadiers will wrap up that engagement easily enough. Two squads of conscripts making their way for the flank are too late. The Kuba wagon probably be able to suppress them as well. No anti-tank grenade research from Somenbjorn, so he's not got a solution to that Kuba wagon yet. There it is, it will complete. AT grenades just finished. Kuba wagon is available for this engagement, but it has to rotate a little bit. Trying to pull back to safety. He's very cornered. Oh, he's screwed. Dead Kuba. Counter grenade right there may wipe those conscripts on retreat. Needs to stop moving and just fire at them on the red cover road. Doesn't do so, they get away. Meanwhile, here in the south, Oster managed to hold the line. Fuel still under Oster control, North fuel under Oberkommando West control, and both munitions still under Soviet control, so Allies have a huge munitions income, which as Soviets is not that useful. And Axis have a huge fuel income, which as Axis is extremely useful. And we'll see what they decide to do with it. No tech structure. Oh, yes, we do. There it is. Tier 3. Tier 3 from Katatafisch. He's maybe going to go Tier 4 next against what they're up against. Mostly conscripts, some guards. Looks could definitely work if he thinks that guard spam is going to be too much for him to take on. Doesn't trust his micro enough. Maybe he'll just go Stuka. Maybe he'll just go Panther. Got some options. The movement of this truck makes me think Tier 4, but I am afraid he might set it up in too aggressive a position. Soviets now double teaming the north hard, and the Oster player needs to expand and take control of territory that's undefended here in the south. Once he sees that his opponent, or that his teammate is getting double teamed, Fallschirmjäger fielded out of this shed to put pressure on that mortar team, which is going to try to reposition to safety, or to maybe a more aggressive location. I'm not sure that Somenbjorn has noticed this happening. Fallschirmjäger bringing that squad low. This is one of the best things you can do with a Fallschirmjäger squad. You just fielded, vetted up on a nice squishy team weapon in red cover. Needs to jump back in cover when he sees this coming, though, or just retreat. Molotov's about to get tossed. And he will get out of there with 3 mono losses inflicted and none received. Good start. Has a long way to go with that squad. See what he decides to do. Tier 4 structure is about to get built on this fuel point, which will make it very hard to both assault and defend. It's really far away from both bases. I don't know what I think about that. Honestly, there's PPSH conscripts really close by. MG34 is available to screen, though. And I think he should be able to finish constructing this as long as he gets that machine gun set up right now. Sturm's moving into close range to make sure those conscripts do not interrupt the construction of this structure. And it will complete. The question is, how will the Soviets respond to the fact that this has been built up here? They need to mobilize some sort of coordinated attack against it while it's still quite vulnerable. Here in the center, guards and PPSH conscripts moving in on some grenadiers will be forced away. Munitions point falling into their control. No commander selection from Sperlingsprinz or Somenbjorn yet. Jaeger armor will be the obvious choice should Somenbjorn choose counterattack. And if he chooses one of the other two, well, he's almost certainly not going to choose armor defense. So if he goes shock rifle, then Jaeger armor would still make sense, honestly. Be pretty good against both of those. Having the elephant against the IS-2 would be very nice. But shock rifle will definitely leave his options open as far as assault support or elite troops if he just wants the Tiger or Tiger Ace instead. And things are pretty quiet for now. Looks like we're going to see another attempt for the south, but I doubt it's going to go well without some sort of armor. We're looking at machine gun set up here with Pioneer spotting this time. Pioneer spotting for this machine gun as well, maybe a little. Grenadiers moving to assist. Moving that machine gun to a slightly more aggressive location. Grenadiers are available to support and spot. Agent's not going to be joined yet, though. Also got a mortar moving up to maybe start firing on this structure. Looks like it's already taken very light damage. Gets healed up though. Maxim, mortar, and field gun available for this push. To counterattack, we have Sturms, Volksgrenadiers, MG34. Not very much stuff. Fallschirmjäger could move up from the south flank to try and take out some of these team weapons though. They find an opportunity. Currently his micro attention is occupied on his Panzer II, which is trying to work the south. Combat Engineer Squad gets wiped right there. Grenadiers need to retreat from that Molotov. There they go. Kind of a late retreat. They stayed in that area for a really long time before retreating. This has been decapped apparently. The squad that did so has been wiped though. Guards engaging some Pios in the south. Just kind of hanging out behind that shed for now. Fallschirmjäger did in fact move up from the south flank, although Volksgrenadiers kind of just dove right in front of its arc of fire for whatever reason. These team weapons being set up in red cover certainly isn't doing them any favors against these Fallschirmjäger. They're going to be forced to retreat or get wiped very quickly. That flank draws all of the conscripts' attention away from whatever assault they may have been thinking of pulling off right there, leaving that field gun a little bit vulnerable initially.
Shock troops can now be used to crush the enemy.
Stern Pioneers had a bit of an opening to try and take it out while those conscripts were tied up in that engagement, but
The enemy is encroaching on our territory.
that might have also been an overextension to attempt. He should not have just retreated. And that's probably going to be destroyed because he just retreated that squad. Unless that Panzer II can pull off some sort of miracle maneuver up there in the north, which it was unlikely to be able to do. Somenbjorn has 4 squads of conscripts available, plus the AT gun. There's no way he's going to clear out that position. He also just dropped another 440 on a second squad of Fallschirmjäger right here, so I guess he's just going to let this die. I mean, that's what's going to happen if you set up that ridiculously aggressive position and then don't defend it with any of your DPS sources. Can't really expect anything else to happen. Tier 4 structure is destroyed. MG34 will be forced to retreat. Nice patient push by Somenbjorn right there. Punished the aggressive placement without any issues at all. Barely even struggled. Only one attempt at counterattack by a Fallschirmjäger squad and Volksgrenadier squad. The attack on the south clearly failed. Sperlingsprinz holding this area easily. The Lux is destroyed by AT grenades from a conscript swarm here in the center. So, not off to a great start from the Axis. Oster being way too passive right here. I don't think he's going to be able to hold this line forever if he doesn't get a little bit more aggressive about taking territory. If he forces his teammate to contend against 2 people by himself for the entire game, he's certainly not going to be able to engage cost effectively. Just sitting AFK here in the south. Not particularly helpful to anybody. Meanwhile, the Soviets crawling all over the north, getting that territory under control. Munitions are being contested now. And all 4 commanders have been chosen shock rifle and Jaeger armor. So Jaeger armor gives some protection against potential B4. I don't know if he thinks his opponent has gone counterattack, he sees shock troops and just doesn't want to take the chance or what, but either way, he has chosen it. This is a pretty good map for the Elephant. Probably going to be seeing that make an appearance. Funnel grenade dodged there by those conscripts.
Ambush camouflage now available.
Fallschirmjäger setting up in green cover. Fallschirmjäger also set up right there in open ground. They need to kite those shock troops to death, basically. Whoa, what is this engagement? Guards in a bit of trouble. Oh, this rifle grenade could be devastating. Oh, it was actually targeted at that Maxim instead of that tight clump of guards. Although the sound of the grenade being fired prompted Augustus to make a full retreat right there, so that was actually pretty good mind games. One grenade on the Maxim and everything makes a full retreat, despite still having a pretty decent amount of health remaining, but that was a lost engagement. We finally have some aggression by the Oster for the munitions point right here. Meanwhile, conscripts taking control of strategic points in the south, but the munitions will be connected by the center VP. Shock troops disengaged from the double Fallschirmjäger. Panzer Grenadiers trying to do what they can. Kind of a late reaction to this though, and will be forced to retreat. Fallschirmjägers should take the engagement, but a grenade toss on those Volksgrenadiers deals heavy damage. PPSH conscripts are probably going to lose that. Molotov toss to turn the engagement, and props a full retreat. He was right by a half-track. If he would have just paid more attention and dodged, probably would have been fine. Eats that whole Molotov, though. T-34 on the field from Augustus, who has gun tier 3. No tech structure from Somenbjorn, as of right now. The shock troops have been on the front line for a really long time, trying to delay the recapture of the center victory point as long as they can with smoke grenades, but they're falling really low, giving free kills and veterancy to the double Fallschirmjäger purchase right here. Flame projectors upgraded on Sterling's half-track, but it takes a huge hit from that AT gun. It's probably going to die if anything damages it. Right in front of that field gun. Whoa. Wow. Has a tiny sliver of health remaining. I think it might get away. Maybe. Fallschirmjäger gets suppressed over there. Second squad of Fallschirmjäger set up in green cover, and an infantry support gun has been fielded by Katatafisch over here on the right side. Trying to bombard blobs of conscripts and team weapons over here. Possibly firing at that Maxim in the house. Do a little bit of damage to that. The half-track is alive. Gets away with a tiny sliver remaining, and the T-34 dies down here in front of this AT gun. I don't know if it hit a mine or what. Apparently did not accomplish much with that T-34. I completely missed that engagement. Infantry support gun suppresses one squad of conscripts. MG-34 will pin them. Incendiary artillery will prompt them to retreat. Fallschirmjäger also going to retreat. Some nasty crits from that. Half-track really needs repairs. Pios are on their way south.
Pioneers ready for assignment.
Squad's reinforcing here on the battle group in the base. Does not go with an aggressive placement for his third truck. I'm wondering if he's going to rebuild his tier 4 or go King Tiger. They have had a huge fuel advantage this game. King Tiger is going to be here quite soon, actually. Even if they don't gain any new territory. Currently, it seems the Soviets are content to defend what territory they currently have. Pretty light defense on the right side munitions. No defense on the north. Cool. Huge cluster of Soviet troops here behind the lines, front lines. Fresh T-34 moving up to assist. No call-ins for Augustus, so going to be operating on guards in tier 3 this game, it seems. If he makes a play for the south fuel, he'll have to contend with pretty much the entire Oster army, and a pretty significant chunk. The Oberkommando West forces are making their way towards the north fuel to try and get that under control, while the infantry support gun bombards this house. MG-34 on the flank. One Volksgrenadier squad on the flank to protect against armored pushes. And Raketenwerfer. I like this layering of weapons. He has protection against infantry charges. Raketenwerfer way in the back. Volksgrenadiers slightly closer. It's a pretty good layout. This can protect against a pretty decent sized push. And it'll allow him to bombard at range quite safely. Well, unless he gets blasted by a heavy mortar. Oh, that was just a regular mortar. Notice how the precision strike has a louder explosion sound. Sounds like a heavy mortar, but it's not one. Combat engineers were moving towards the north to plant some defenses. Nice usage of the minesweeper Pios to make sure that there are no demo charges here. Incendiary artillery being dropped on those stern Pios. Fallschirmjäger will move clear. Pretty much just wasted munitions. He will get the sector under control. Leaves all of these infantry up here in the north to continue working on this territory. Somenbjorn is going to send pretty much his entire army to deal with this. Conscripts and shock troops heading into the retreat path, and there doesn't look like that's an engagement Katatafisch can win unless he lands a glorious titanium tetrachloride frangible grenade, smoke grenade, on a really tight cluster. They're both vet 1, so we can throw 2 of them. That'll help. Basically, he needs to throw 2 frangible grenades on the tightest clusters of these forces that he can. I don't know if he should have retreated yet. He's gonna retreat immediately. That's kind of a shame. He could have definitely tried something with those frangible grenades right there. I think that was a mistake. The opponent was blobbing pretty hard. If he had lured him around a corner in a nice tight clump, I think he could have made something happen. Shock troops making their way towards the fuel point. Meanwhile, here in the south, a Panther has been fielded by Sperlingsprinz, who has gone tier 4. Jaeger armor into tier 4. Interesting. T-34 will struggle against the Panther. And it doesn't look like the battle lines are shifting very much here in the south. Austere player might consider getting that strategic point under control of the spare squad. He certainly has plenty of squads to spare here on his defensive line. There's the King Tiger. King Tiger in production in addition to the Panther. Engine damage on the T-34. This T-34 moving in as well. Panther needs some repairs. Very, very hesitant to engage on both sides. I feel that a coordinated push by the Soviets for this defensive position would easily succeed. There are very light defenses, especially of the anti-tank variety. Anti-tank guns with their high explosive barrage could easily pound away everything down here. There's just way too much Soviet stuff for the Axis to possibly be able to survive a coordinated flank by them from all directions. But we're going to see the Allies focus on defending the center primarily for now. MG-34 will be forced to retreat right there. Panzer Grenadiers getting away very narrowly. Here in the north, mine being planted, but he needs to cancel that right now. Taking heavy damage. There's a minesweeper right there. This is futile. Okay. King Tiger on the field. Panzer's been fully repaired. We're going to see a very feeble push. 2 conscripts? That's really all you're willing to dedicate? Come on. Get in there. There we go. T-34 is moving to engage as well. Try and neutralize the threat of the flame projector half-track. Which is performing kind of okay, I guess. It's killed a handful of infantry. Not exactly anything impressive. Molotov gets tossed. We need some frangibles to shut down these shock troops. Where are those frangibles? They're only 30 munitions. They're such good value. Throw it! Throw it! Throw the grenade! Look how tightly bunched they are. King Tiger working on conscripts, bringing them pretty low. Incendiary artillery being dropped on this clump of infantry. Vaux Grenadiers falling so low. I think they're gonna get clear. Everything else gets clear of the flames easily enough. A couple conscript squads have to retreat, but other than that, the engagement's not that dramatic in anybody's favor. Shock troops will prompt a retreat from the stern piles. No, don't retreat those. They need to support the King Tiger with their minesweeper and repairs. If it suffers engine damage or hits a mine, it's a sitting duck up here. He should have found a way to soft retreat those back to his King Tiger without hard retreating them all the way back to base. He's extraordinarily vulnerable up here. He's probably pretty much swept this whole area since they did manage to make it all the way up to the fuel point. So he can pretty safely advance this far. But again, it's not just the minesweeper, he needs the repairs. AT grenades connecting with the frontal armor, but he does get penetrated. AT gun is available to support this engagement. Fallschirmjäger need to move straight for the AT gun and screen that thing away while the King Tiger worries about these infantry. Currently moving, they're disengaging. Needs to engage with those Fallschirmjäger. around the south flank to get rid of those AT guns. 2 T-34s are moving to try and take out that King Tiger. I don't think they'll be successful though. Raketenwerfer on the flank, Panzerschreck on the flank. This is a suicide mission. I think T-34s realize that and are trying to pull back to safety. Stern Pioneers on their way for repairs. The Panther is moving to assist in this engagement as well, but he has a long way to go before he gets there. Anti-tank guns trying to get a line. Grenade toss. Probably should have gone with frangible. Again, smoke would block their line of sight. Funnel grenade barely did anything. And it's cheaper. Fallschirmjäger making a suicidal push across open ground for the Faust. That cost him a lot of manpower, didn't accomplish very much. Panther has arrived to support in this engagement, and King Tiger is finally receiving repairs. Sturmovik strike circling. If it chooses to target the stern pilots, it might do pretty heavy damage, but I don't think it's going to do anything too dramatic. Chooses to target the Raketenwerfer. Almost no serious damage inflicted. AT guns move up to fire on the King Tiger, whose engine is still damaged. Needs to pull to safety. They're attacking ground through the hedge, and all shots are connecting. Since both Fallschirmjäger squads had to retreat, he doesn't have a high DPS squad with which to screen away these AT guns. His stern pios tried to get the job done themselves, and that decision causes him to have to hard retreat that squad. Hard retreating his Fallschirmjäger and stern pios means this engagement is probably effectively lost. He has to pull way back. And so does his teammate. Both of them taking engine damage on their heavy tanks / medium tanks. Fallschirmjäger reinforcing here in the base. Stern Pioneers need reinforcement. The King Tiger and Panther have been effectively forced off the field until they can receive some very slow repairs. Soviets continue to maintain pretty much complete dominance of the map. And an IS-2 has rolled onto the field. IS-2 in addition to 2 T-34s, probably enough to take on one of these tanks if they can isolate it without anti-tank support. I feel that Katatafisch is over-investing in Fallschirmjäger. I don't know why he would have gotten this third squad. That seems like too many. If you're not sure what to spend your manpower on at this point, I recommend a second squad of stern piles for faster repairs of not just your tanks but also your teammates. Or just more Volksgrenadiers, maybe an extra Raketenwerfer. This doesn't seem very manpower efficient, but he might be able to make it work.
Orders complete.
An IS-2 on the field, though, this has a pretty good chance of costing more manpower than it's worth. Especially if he bunches them like this. Elite infantry are almost like light vehicles. They're almost like light vehicles. Very fragile, very expensive, and very high damage output. Like a slow, easier, like light vehicle that you can retreat. They make good counter-harassment units like most light vehicles do. You use them quite similarly. And just like light vehicles, they require very careful attention in micro. You do not want to be inattentive about where you left your Fallschirmjäger and what they are doing. Now, very dramatic impact, you need to make sure you're having the most dramatic impact they possibly can without taking too much manpower bleeding exchange. Fallschirmjäger might be the most dramatic example of an elite infantry squad that, if microed very carefully, have an extraordinarily powerful impact, and if microed not carefully, can just cost you 440 manpower and not accomplish anything. Stern Pioneers preparing that King Tiger right there. Oh man, that was a huge hit right there. That was devastating. Incendiary artillery being dropped generally near the King Tiger. These massive shots from the King Tiger just got 10 shock troop kills and 2 hits. That should definitely open up an opportunity for a push back towards the north. Pretty effectively dodging the flames, making his way, skirting around the side. Panther continues to struggle against Soviet armor. Against the T-34, it's pretty much fine. He's probably gonna want to consider getting either another Panther or getting that Elephant on the field. He's pop-capped though. He can't get anything. He's been so inactive. This is a huge sign that you need to trade more aggressively. If you have 2,000 manpower and you can't afford any units. I think he might be intentionally suiciding those Panzer Grenadiers to open up. Yeah, he just let them die so he could get an Elephant. I don't know what I think about suiciding his Panzer Grens though. I think suiciding maybe the well, not the half-track. Probably some Grenadiers would have made more sense. He probably should have done it in a big engagement rather than just suiciding them as well. It should trade rather than just suicide and his opponent. I mean, he's got so much resources it barely matters. I'm just pointing out that generally what you want to do is trade, not just throw away your army just because you're pop-capped and you want an Elephant. You should try to trade aggressively, and you should try to do so all game long. You really don't want to end up in this situation. This is a really big red flag that you have not been pulling your weight or contributing at all. So are the CPs, 14 to almost 18. Just sitting AFK here in the south, not contributing at all, making it extremely difficult for Katatafisch to make progress on any front. No matter where he goes, he's going up against the full might of at least one player's army. Everything Somenbjorn has in the north. Everything Augustus Marius has in the center. IS-2 takes a huge hit from the Elephant. Panther's going to try and follow up. King Tiger should assist. King Tiger needs to assist. That is a huge opportunity. Look at how wounded these two IS-2s are. Panther takes too much damage from a field gun, has to pull back to safety. Elephant blocks its pathing. It could have died right there because of that Elephant maneuver. Jagdpanzer on the field to support the King Tiger's flank. Interesting. Stern Pioneers will be able to repair the Panther quite quickly.
We have lost the machine gun crew.
I got wiped by a grenade over there. Not sure what tossed it, but okay. Nice grenade.
Your predecessor died a hero. The enemy is reduced to 200 points.
King Tiger takes a big shot at the T-34s right there before pulling back for some minor repairs itself. Pretty timid engagements with these heavy tanks. They've got 200 victory points left, but they should really try to be a little more aggressive. They've got the manpower to support more aggressive engagements. If you're too passive, you're just going to let your... I mean, yeah, Axis has a pretty strong late game with their heavy tanks and everything, but a well-microed medium tank swarm is just as dangerous, if not more dangerous, than heavy tanks. You can't just let your opponent sit on 2/3 of the map and hope for the best. Once your heavies arrive, it's time to make plays. You can't just sit back and defend anymore. Elephant slowly moving up. King Tiger needs to kind of spearhead a charge here. With Elephant support, they should be able to win an engagement or at least pick up some kills. Huge damage. That T-34 stood no chance right there. Jagdpanzer with the pickoff. Fallschirmjäger should have moved up during that engagement for the Panzerfaust on the one in the back, but it doesn't even matter. Jagdpanzer gets 2 kills during that. Those T-34s could not pull to safety in time. Incendiary artillery to push Fallschirmjäger out of the capture circle.
We have a fresh grenadier squad.
Big grenade opportunity right there. Frangible over the... They have vision? No. That AT gun should probably not make the maneuver it's about to make. Just firing blind. No engagement for the north yet. Nice hit from the infantry support gun right there. Sturmovik Stripe wipes a squad. That's the first time I've ever seen that actually do that. It was a one-man squad. He was probably gonna die anyway, but still. Nice to see that strafe actually pick something off for once. King Tiger moving up to engage more aggressively. ML-20 gets a hit off on the Elephant, so it's gonna reposition a little bit. Anti-tank fire coming in on the King Tiger, mostly bouncing. There's an Su-85 and a field gun available to fire on it, and 2 IS-2s are making their way around the north flank to try and figure something out. The Jagdpanzer and Elephant are both available to support against a push from that direction, though. King Tiger is inflicting huge damage on infantry formations in the center, up to 43 kills. That's a 43 kill King Tiger, and it's barely sustained a scratch throughout this entire game. I don't know where that elephant is going. He needs to be taking shots at these things. What is he doing? He pulled way too far back. I don't know if he has a line on those IS-2s from where he is right now. Stop moving and fire. There he goes. IS-2 takes a big hit from the elephant. As soon as that elephant fires, look at what an impact that has. Just psychologically, those IS-2s immediately pull back. All pressure immediately relieved. All you had to do is fire the elephant one time. Su-85 getting a little overly aggressive right there. Man, what have these Fallschirmjäger squads been doing all game? It seems like they're always in the base reinforcing. He doesn't seem to be able to mobilize them effectively. I don't think he's getting a particularly good return on that investment. Fallschirmjäger. Another bundle grenade kind of whiffs a little bit. Another nice thing about the frangible grenade is it's almost impossible to miss with. The area of effect on the smoke is like huge. Titanium tetrachloride grenade is your friend. As soon as you hit Vet 1, you should be spamming that thing like there's no tomorrow. King Tiger is up to 46 kills. Still yet to sustain even a scratch. He's playing very defensively with it, but at the same time finding good opportunities to pick off infantry. I think he needs to be more aggressive with this thing though. Most allied tanks have been destroyed. Well, 2 T-34s. There's still an Su-85. He needs to move up and try and take out one priority target, pull back, repair. Take out a priority target, pull back, repair. Infantry bleed is not really sufficient to get full control of the game. They still don't even hold the center victory point. We also need to see more harassment to the north and less AFK squads in the base. Doing, I don't even know, whatever they're doing. Trying to brute force Fallschirmjäger into the center capture circle is probably not the solution here. They need to spread out and look for opportunities to flank elsewhere on the map. Although setting them up in green cover to defend this area is a pretty good way to bleed their opponent's manpower at least. Elephant moves up, doesn't have a line on anything currently. One IS-2 hovering in the north, another one receiving repairs right there. Axis really need to get this territory under their control. They have the tools to do it, they're just not being aggressive enough. Especially Sperlingsprinz, who has a ridiculous amount of resources. And needs to start engaging and trading. Look at all of these forces down here, and he hasn't even taken these 2 strategic points, which are completely undefended. For I don't even know how long. ML-20 blasting away at this area. I think that's 2 ML-20s constructed now, right? There's one. Yeah, 2 ML-20s. It's a lot of manpower spent on ML-20s, but why not? If your opponent's going to sit on 1,500 manpower, and you definitely get freed up to spend it on whatever, on any luxury item you please, because your opponent's not using his resources. You may as well throw up an artillery piece or a fuel cache or anything you want, really. Your opponent's not spending his resources. You have all the options in the world. Fallschirmjäger trying to get this territory under control. Panther disengages so quick. What is this ridiculously passive tank play from the Axis? It's a Vet 2 Panther. Get the fuck in there. Throw some balls, Axis. Let's see these tanks slug it out a little bit. You are the ones with the stronger frontal armor and guns. What are you so scared of? There's an elephant right here. Jagd Panzer needs repairs. King Tiger needs repairs. All infantry and team weapons in the south have yet to move in the last 20 minutes, including this half-track. Ridiculous amount of idle units here from Sperlingsprinz. Katatafisch, not honestly a whole lot better. He has generally been sort of moving his infantry around. But not making any meaningful progress, completely given up on the north as far as I can tell. Elephant Can't seem to get shots off across this road. The elevation is causing problems. Panther is falling low enough to justify actually pulling back for some repairs this time. King Tiger and Jagdpanzer moving up to provide firepower. That's 3 IS-2s coming in from the north flank. We might see a big push here. I think the Axis should be able to shut it down as long as they field everything. Point it in this direction. That elephant may want to consider pulling back. Either that or just keep firing, because he may not stand a reasonable chance of escaping anyway. Shouldn't have switched targets right there. I don't know why he did that. Elephant should really consider disengaging. Decided to just keep it firing because it was kind of caught in a vulnerable position right there anyway. The King Tiger should have been making more of an effort to get in front of it and screen these tanks away instead of just kind of sitting there and letting that elephant die. That was an unfortunate loss. Allies take out the elephant and pull back with no losses of their own, and they take it out frontally. They didn't even have to execute a flank just because of just brute force sheer firepower of the IS-2s. If the Axis had prepared a little bit more for that push by spending their manpower on AT weapons of some kind, infantry-based AT weapons, might not have gone that way. But he certainly has no trouble replacing that elephant because of the massive amount of resource reserves he has in the bank. But it doesn't really matter if they don't get territory back under their control. 150 points remaining, and they show no signs of being able to take control of this map. Fallschirmjäger spawning in the north are killed. And shock troops are moving to retake that victory point. I'm also a little surprised that the Allies have made no attempt to take control of the south. Axis have made no attempt to take any points in this area. Allies have equally made no attempt down there. Just total standstill, as all attention is dedicated towards the engagement for the center, and getting tunnel vision on one victory point like this is exactly what causes 43-minute slugfests. If you don't like slugfests, pay attention to the rest of the map. Maps like this are designed to prevent slugfests. You should never really have a hugely long slugfest on Vaux Farmlands because of the positioning of the victory points that allows you to go push somewhere else if you can't break through on a particular front. If you like slugfests, though, however, which I don't, but if you do, then this is exactly what you should do, and just keep pounding away at the center to your heart's content. Incendiary artillery will prevent the capture of this victory point. There's another hard retreat by Fallschirmjäger. Fresh elephant moving up to the exact same position where the last one died, which seems like a pretty dangerous thing to do. I don't see what's going to stop 3 IS-2s from rolling around this flank and killing it a second time if they don't change up their positioning somehow. Jagdpanzer is slightly available to screen, but 1 Jagdpanzer versus 3 IS-2s isn't exactly sufficient. Fortunately, the IS-2s are not going to be engaging around the north flank. They're going to be making a huge push for the south, which has only extremely light defenses right here. I certainly doubt that the defense he had set up down here stood any chance of surviving against even a half-hearted push from the Allies 20 minutes ago. Ooh, nice teller mine right there, though. Does get an immobilization on that IS-2. Button on the Panther to try and expose it a little bit. With its Vet 2, it should be able to get to safety, I think. A lot of shots bouncing. It looks like it's going to get away. It should be fine. Zooming down the road. That teller mine needs to be capitalized on. Elephant needs to move to support in this engagement. They really need to take that thing out while its engine is destroyed. The King Tiger is currently too preoccupied for the center, though. Fallschirmjäger moving to take control of this point. The King Tiger is pulling back for some repairs. The Jagdpanzer at least will move to support in this engagement. Panther is very close to going down. Buttoned again. Nice hit from the elephant from the north. Okay, there it goes. IS-2 destroyed, and I think that Panther is going to get to safety. The immobilized IS-2 shows no signs of receiving repairs anytime in the immediate future. Elephant and Jagdpanzer on the hunt to take that thing down. This could be a huge pickup for the Axis if they can destroy both of those IS-2s and T-34. Elephant got a huge hit. Jagdpanzer also moving to contribute. Repairs are so late. Far, far too late. That is a dead IS-2. Rear armor hit. Boom. Very nice teller mine. Very nice. follow-up.
One of our vehicles.
Good reaction by the Axis to that engagement by the Allies. The South does fall, all defenses cleared out. Engagement is won only by a quick response from the Jagdpanzer. And Elephants, so really the biggest mistake the Allies made right here was taking too much engine damage. They needed to bring a minesweeper, and they needed to stay out of the effective range of Fallschirmjäger and Grenadiers, kite them to death, rather than exposing their rear armor. Basically just came to micro mistakes and the failure to bring a minesweeper. But a fourth IS-2 has been fielded, going in way too hard though. I don't think they can win this. If that Elephant gets even one more shot off, it will probably turn the engagement in favor of the Axis. As long as that Yak can get to safety. Nice use of concealed movement right there to drop aggro. Drops aggro on the IS-2 to fuck with his turret rotation. Popped it at the exact right moment. That was very, very nice play to preserve that Jagdpanzer. King Tiger's almost done receiving repairs. The Jagdpanzer will be next in line. King Tiger's up to Vet 2. Allies have lost almost all tanks. They are now in a pretty rough situation. Elephant is about to destroy a third IS-2 if he can get in range. IS-2 will move into the fog. There's a teller mine right there. Wow, I can't believe that didn't just hit that teller mine. That was so close. Panther's on the hunt, trying to take that thing out. Gets a penetration. Main gun destroyed, but he should have no problem hunting and killing that thing. Also has an opportunity against the ML-20 right here, if he can stick around for long enough. Almost all Axis defenses have been destroyed. ML-20s bring the Elephant really low, needs to pull back for some repairs. The Panther just got blasted by something. Felt really low somehow. Oh, the two Su-85s. Oh, what is that Panther doing? It needs to somehow maneuver itself out of the situation, but those Su-85s are so nicely spaced. Get around the corner! Rate of fire way too high, and he does go down. Two Su-85s and a T-34 moving up to screen away all infantry. Vaux Grenadiers may be able to find an opportunity against the ML-20. Sturmovik strike being called in on the Vaux Grenadiers to force the retreat. And there they go. The failure to engage with the King Tiger and Jagdpanzer means that engagement wasn't really going to go anywhere. The Elephant is receiving repairs here in the back. Huge, monstrous amounts of resource flow from the Axis, which just goes to show they're engaging so cost effectively that they can't even spend their resources because they're being so careful and passive. Where are the expenditures? You can't just spend manpower and fuel and munitions. You have to spend PopCap. You spend PopCap by engaging aggressively. PopCap is a resource too. And if you don't spend it, you don't punish your opponent for losing units.
Engineers ready for assignment.
Oh man, get in there, do something. I can't believe there's only one squad of Grenadiers making a play for the center VP right now. Where are your armies? What are they doing? Those guys need to get back to the front line. One squad of Fallschirmjäger just hanging out in green cover here in the south. They do need to be careful about losing victory points. One squad of Fallschirmjäger finally making a harassment attempt for the north. It looks like this engagement will go to the Allies. That 3 squads of guards should easily win that. PTRSs are going to snipe those Grens. Fallschirmjäger won't last long without support. Panther moves to assist in this engagement. Incendiary artillery being dropped to flush them out of cover. Will succeed. Jumping into yellow cover instead. Panther trying to go for an aggressive crush maneuver. Does need to be careful not to expose himself to his own teller mine right there. Just in case a shot from his own main gun detonates that teller mine underneath this Panther, that could be disastrous. 2 Su-85s are making a maneuver against the Panther there in the south. Most Axis tanks not even moving. The Elephant's been fully repaired, but it's in a somewhat awkward location where it may not be able to get a line on much. Fallschirmjäger working on the north victory point. IS-2 moving to counter, and the Jagdpanzer and King Tiger are not even moving.
Has arrived on the battlefield.
Fallschirmjäger are forced to retreat from the south. Su-85 is getting huge damage off on that button Panther. I think it's going to go down. It doesn't really have a way to get to safety. There it goes. Completely isolated without support there in the south. Nice movement by the Elephant, though. Will trade, at least. Not a very good trade. Panther's worth a lot more than an Su-85. Fallschirmjäger in the north about to get pushed away by the IS-2 and conscripts. Although they are Vet 4. They have probably really good damage even at this range, but only one model is currently firing, and he needs to retreat when that IS-2 reveals itself. Stuka has been fielded. Seems more his speed. One squad of Grenadiers defending the center victory point, the south victory point being taken by one squad of Guards, the north being taken by one squad of Conscripts. Really feeble pushes, considering the full amount of forces that every side should be able to bring to bear. Looking at 100 of 100 PopCap army right there. 67 of 100 is pretty pathetic for somebody who has 1,300 manpower, though. He needs to get that spent. Is that Stuka even gonna fire? Is anything gonna happen? This is literally going 8 times speed. There we go. A T-34 pokes its head out. 2 IS-2s making an aggressive push for the center. We might see an actual engagement. The south is being retaken by a pretty decent sized Axis push. The Allies have completely given up on that area for now. Except for ML-20 fire, which could be devastating. Maybe at this range it won't be, but... Oh my god! Okay, that was devastating. That was an incredibly good shot. I wanted to get like a cool shot of the shell coming in from a distance, but I messed it up. Oh. Doesn't even retreat. Just like, I'm just gonna hang out. I'm sure I'll be able to contribute usefully to whatever engagement happens next down here with two dead Grenadier squads. Fallschirmjäger decide, oh, I guess we should capture the VP. IS-2 is pulling completely away from the center. I don't think the Stuka has even fired since it hit the field like a long time ago. There it goes, firing at something, possibly trying to decrew the howitzers, which are up to 0 and 10 kills respectively. That's a lot of veterancy for a howitzer with 0 kills. Pretty good barrage though. It takes out 2 combat engineering squads, shutting down some repairs. That's 8 kills right in the first barrage, so first barrage was good. Needs to try and fire it as frequently as possible though. It was idle for a long time. Now he retreats. Apparently the threat that showed up through the fog of war ended up being more than that dead Grenadier squad could handle. Vet 3 guards are just chunking this Fallschirmjäger down so hard. Fallschirmjäger absolutely must have green cover to engage this. There will be no winning against this without it. Get in the green cover. There's a T-34 right there. Hide. Oh, this is a lost engagement. North engagement being lost. He's engaging 2 locations at the same time. I'm not sure he's paying attention to this one. He's not, and that's a dead squad. Just wasn't paying attention. That one forced to retreat. Loses it. Meanwhile, here in the center, some wounded Volksgrenadiers just kind of looking for opportunities, I guess. I don't think this King Tiger's even moved for 15 minutes. I think it has sat parked right there. Why would you build a King Tiger? It's going to soak up so much of your pop cap if you're not even going to do anything with it. It's got 73 kills. Looks like he forgot he even had this thing. Needs to move it up to push away some infantry on the center VP. My god, the resource float is disgusting. 4,000 manpower being floated by the Axis. 4,000 manpower. I don't know if they could be playing more lazily right now. Do they want to lose? They're running out of victory points. They are losing this game. Despite overwhelmingly cost-effective engagements. Look at these numbers. 242 and 118 for Katatafisch. monstrous efficiency on his units, and he is losing. A Pyrrhic victory for the Soviets is still a victory. Pay attention to the victory conditions. Don't just sit here with these tanks. Far too passive.
Contact! Infantry assaulting!
Looks like the Allies are mobilizing for a big push towards the south. The maneuver by that T-34 certainly doesn't go very well. It gets annihilated instantly. Fallschirmjäger and Panzer Grenadiers are available down here, and the Axis may want to consider throwing up some green cover when they have a spare moment. They don't actually have any tools that can do that, though. Not right now. They might even consider utilizing vehicle cover if it comes down to it. Protect the squads at least a little bit. I know I'm like the only person in all of KO2 that does that, though. But it would be fun to see somebody submit a replay where vehicle cover actually got utilized for, you know, even a split second. I would think it was cool, at least. It's probably really easy to do on the King Tiger and Elephant. It's pretty easy to do on any vehicle, honestly. I'm surprised more people don't do it. It's pretty, I think it's useful. Personally.
The enemy is taking our territory.
Grenadiers will be forced to retreat in the south, and it literally took nothing more than for guards to, with Vet 3 to just walk into the capture circle to potentially, oh, nice crush though. Okay, I thought he was gonna get that victory point, but no, not quite. Nice crush. These IS-2s are just hanging out back here because they know they can't engage with Jagdpanzer Elephant right there. That's too much. Far too much to frontally assault. If they tried to set up some sort of elaborate flank around the south route here, they might be able to make something happen against the Elephant, which is a little exposed. Especially if this one circled around from the north simultaneously, with most Axis forces sort of sitting here in this area, and since the King Tiger seems to refuse to even leave this parking lot right here. ML-20 bombarding. Wow, look at that ML-20 bombardment. Did you see that? That was huge. I think that was 2 precision strikes. It was almost like a little mini B4. 2 simultaneous precision strikes chunked that Elephant's health down so hard. Yeah, those were both precision strikes. Nice play. Look at this flank. Panther goes down instantly to Su-85 fire from the back. Elephant stood no chance. And the Allies are actually utilizing teamwork. The Axis, oh, he actually does make an effort. He sends his King Tiger down. He's just late. This is exactly why you have to be aggressive. You can't just sit back with your tanks and wait for your opponents to execute a beautiful flank on some isolated force and trade really nicely. Because if the Allies trade all game long, even cost ineffectively, and the Axis don't trade at all, then not sure what the Axis think is going to happen here. Only 85 points remaining. Game's now an hour long, apparently. Jesus. This IS-2 hit another teller mine. I want to check the stats again. Look at these numbers. Oh my god, Somenbjorn could not be engaging more horribly. He's barely killed anything, and honestly the only reason Augustus is doing as well as he is because he's got these howitzers, I guess. I don't know, that's not even true. This one doesn't even have any kills. I feel like it's shot only at tanks with precision strike. This one just got cleared, so I can't check the stats on there. Squad wipe. Wipes one of those repairing squads and then pulls back to try and get control of the victory point. You might be able to get out of range of that immobilized IS-2. Yep, does get clear and should be able to get the victory point captured, and the Jagdpanzer will have no problem killing that thing unless support arrives. IS-2 moving up to try and screen. I think that just died unless it gets a death crit. Stupid dive bomb finishes it off. Seemed a little overzealous, honestly, and one shot from anything would have got the job done. I would have reserved that dive bomb for one of these howitzers, which has been such a pain. I mean, he went Jaeger armor specifically to counter artillery, I assumed. Maybe he just really wanted the elephant, I don't know. You really need to keep count of your opponent's tanks, by the way. If you just killed like 3 of their 4 heavy tanks, and they lost all counter-harassment potential, go harass territory. Again, the north is largely undefended. These shock troops could be pushed away by any vehicle. King Tiger's Vet 3, Jagdpanzer's Vet 3. Should be able to just chase and kill these tanks. Well, no, never mind. Not with Su-85 support. He would need support on his flanks. He could consider spending some of his 4,000 manpower. Maybe he should just go in as hard as possible with that King Tiger, kill as much as he can, and then field a new one, because this is just getting ridiculous. That's another issue with his current army composition, is everything he has is so PopCap expensive. He doesn't have any extra infantry squads to just run around the map capturing territory. He could probably field at least 1 squad of Volksgrenadiers right now. That's all he could field, though. If I were him, I would scuttle this infantry support gun, or possibly the Stuka. Is the Stuka really necessary against Soviet players that have nothing but heavy tanks and artillery left? Really? It didn't really do anything. Oh my god. Infantry support gun firing at some stuff right there. These squads taking control of the center victory point. Stuka dive bomb being dropped on the VP. That's an easy dodge, though. Easy peasy. Axis need to field more stuff and harass more territory and engage more aggressively. There's a lot of things the Axis need to be doing right now. Allies doing their best considering the huge amount of losses they've taken this game. It is ridiculous that it's even possible for them to win this game. Look how ahead for resources the Axis are. Look how ahead they are. 4,000 manpower. I'm pretty sure that's setting a record. I'm pretty sure that is shattering all previous records on the show. I have never seen somebody float that hard. That is by far and away the most impressive float I have ever seen in a game of KO2. And honestly, I feel like Katatafisch is one of the best players in this game right now. At least at micro, certainly not at macro. He's got the most damage dealt and most kills. Might just be by virtue of the fact that he's the one who happens to have a King Tiger. I don't know if I think that's true, though. I mean, he has great unit preservation. There's no doubt about that. Vet 5 on both Fallschirmjäger squads. Soon to be Vet 4 on a King Tiger. He just doesn't seem to know when to be the aggressor and when to trade aggressively. Main gun destroyed. It's just a T-34-76. King Tiger has absolutely no problem with that at all. Just activated Blitz to get to safety from a lone IS-2. He can slug it out against that IS-2 so easily. It's a Vet 4 King Tiger. It's not going to lose to an IS-2, especially not with Jagdpanzer support from the south flank. Kill it! Kill it! What are you waiting for? What are you so afraid of? He's treating that King Tiger like it's a Sherman or something. My god, the clock is ticking so slowly. It is an hour and 7 minutes into the game. I have no idea when this is going to end. This is a brutal, brutal slugfest. I would have a headache by now. I would have lost patience and just suicided my whole army 5 times over. Something to be said for extremely patient play in KO2. There really is. It works even at the highest levels. Map dependent, of course. That's definitely not my strength. I am not a patient player. Camping 2 victory points absolutely can be a legitimate strategy, but my god, it produces long games. King Tiger may finally be in significant danger, but with an elephant on the flank, I think that IS-2 is unlikely to make anything happen here, and it's simply trying to get to safety. Panzer Grenadiers get a Panzer Strike volley off right there. Pretty nice. I feel like the King Tiger's pulling back a little far, and I also think a second King Tiger is probably a mistake. I also think this Fallschirmjäger squad probably a mistake. So PopCap inefficient at this point. His army composition is not even remotely combined arms. It's just nothing but super high PopCap elite units, and that is going to cause him to not have barely anything and still be PopCapped. Cannot reliably take control of this victory point with elite infantry. You can't send elite infantry into the meat grinder. I mean, I guess you can if you have 3,000 manpower. At this point, sure, okay, fine, but he just doesn't have enough stuff on the battlefield. He needs to make more units. Axis running out of time again. 2 King Tigers on the field, 3,000 manpower in the bank, and still unable to maintain VP control. Gonna see another attempt for the center. 2 squads of guards will probably succeed in taking control of the south against 1 squad of Grens and a pack. Panzer Grenadiers will be able to take the center VP unopposed, and nothing is making a play for the north, or has made a play for the north in forever. Clock is ticking against the Allies again. 150 points remaining for them. Field gun in the center point, about to get burned to death. Fresh King Tiger moves to engage the shock troops right there.
Send orders.
That 4 King Tiger moving to take control of the south victory point. That's a wipe. I thought that was a wipe for sure. They retreated just in time. Pio's moving to take control of the point. Axis have only 54 points remaining, losing control of the center. If they get triple capped, they're going to run out of time so quick. That King Tiger needs to move to screen that squad away, and the Elephant needs to protect the King Tiger from long-range anti-tank fire. Fresh ML-20 being built. Oh man, Axis field something to the north VP, please. That T-34 is dead. Ram just does penetrate and damage the engine of that elephant, but honestly should not be pulling back. It should just sit here and fire at those IS-2s and support the King Tiger in this engagement. I think this is an engagement the Axis can win if that elephant would fire. And they need to focus fire, not switch targets. IS-2's pulling back, and the Allies are about to take control of the center victory point again. No attempt for the north at all. South being defended by 1 2-man squad of Fallschirmjäger, while the Vet 4 King Tiger moves to engage in the center. So much for those combat engineers. Su-85 gets annihilated by the Vet 4 King Tiger, which should continue chasing. Why would you stop? Go! Put the nail in the coffin. Finish your enemy off. Don't give him all this time with which to execute this victory. Slow, painful victory. It's not even a comeback. It's just a slow victory. Double King Tiger right here should be sufficient to win this engagement. I think that's what, the 3rd elephant that's died in this game. IS-2 is blasted. This IS-2 will not last much longer. That King Tiger needs to chase. Pio's moving into the capture circle to get it under control. The south capture circle being captured by Fallschirmjäger, and I like the purchase of a tier 4 structure to protect. That's actually a pretty nice play. Good usage of resource float in the late game to protect a point if you're pop capped. That makes a lot of sense to do. 34 points remaining. Why would you disengage with that full health Vet 4 King Tiger away from an IS-2 that is screening against the capture of the center VP? Go! Push that thing away. Screen for these infantry. They're being hurled into the meat grinder. Make some space. Oh, make some space. Incendiary artillery into the capture circle now. Panzer Grenadiers moving to take control of the VP. Going to get grounded up by PTRSs, mass PTRSs, 2 IS-2s. They will not survive this attempt to capture the point at all, and the King Tigers disengaged again. Volksgrenadiers on the flank up here. Fallschirmjäger moving for the Panzerfaust. The second King Tiger is pulled all the way back for repairs, which in all fairness probably has to. Stuka needs to fire immediately to take out this cluster of infantry. I don't even know when the last time it fired was, but now would be a pretty good time. Precision strike on the King Tiger brings it quite low. It is now Vet 5. Or maybe that's just a regular barrage, I don't know. Sturmovik strike coming in, does some damage to that. Vet 4 now, infantry support gun. That's pretty impressive. 32 kills, wow, I didn't even realize there was a 32 kill Vet 4 infantry support gun on the field. Nice. Finally, now the Stuka fires after everything's gone. Incendiary artillery just got dropped on his own guards. Ooh, nice. Nice. Beautiful barrage. How did they know that that tank was repairing right there? That was impressive. Must have secured vision from something. I don't know. If tanks don't move up and make space for these infantry, they're just gonna die over and over again in this capture circle. This is just gonna be a mass grave. There we go, an AT gun, that'll make some space. That was a pretty impressive T-34 maneuver. Takes out a ton of infantry and then suicides against the KT for engine damage. Very nice. Vet 5 King Tiger moving up. Only 10 points now remain for the Axis. Desperate final attempt to take control of the center VP. These King Tigers have fallen so low because he has no repairs. He has enough manpower to make 10 squads of Sturm Pioneers, and he can't out-repair the damage he's taking right now. This is why you need to have a proper army composition and not just spam King Tigers and Fallschirmjäger. What is he gonna do? There goes that one. I can't believe he's actually gonna lose this. 8 victory points remain. Axis desperately taking control of the north, but the Allies have all the time in the world, and 1 King Tiger just got killed. A third one is currently in production. Stuka fires on this IS-2 in the back. And these squads are taking control of the center VP. The Axis have stopped the clock for now. But it will take only a very light effort by the Allies to get another victory point under their control at this time. And when they do, that'll be GG. Although that IS-2 dying certainly doesn't help things. I think we're looking at the end of the game here in the north. 3 squads of guards move to push away what pathetic infantry forces are defending. The Axis have no means of taking back control of the center. Panzer Grenadiers cannot stop this blob. There it is, GG.
Combat engineers are standing by.
Well, I think that the main takeaway from this game is that you have 4 resources: manpower, munitions, fuel, and pop cap. Spend your pop cap just as intelligently as you spend the other 3. This won't happen to you. Engage incredibly cost effectively. That's not worth anything if you don't take territory. The game's about more than just cost effective engagements. 328 and 162 and loses the game. That is a tragedy. Another lesson to be learned from this game is army composition is very important. If you make nothing but King Tigers and they're so pop-capped you can't even repair them, you'll lose. And so there you go. GG. Allies win.